The vast emptiness of space shattered as thousands of warships pierced through the darkness, their metallic hulls gleaming under Earth's distant sun. Admiral Korak of the Galactic Empire stood on his flagship's bridge, his six-fingered hands clasped behind his back as he watched the blue marble grow larger on the view screen. Another world to add to their collection, or so he thought. Preliminary scans complete, Admiral, his second-in-command, reported. The humans possess primitive propulsion technology, limited orbital defenses, and show signs of ongoing internal conflicts. They appear to be a Type 0.7 civilization at best. Korak's thin lips curved into what passed for a smile among his species. This would be an easy conquest, another footnote in the Empire's 10,000-year expansion. The humans wouldn't even know what hit them until it was too late. He opened his mouth to give the order for standard invasion protocols when every screen on the bridge suddenly flickered to life. The face that appeared was that of an older human female, her silver hair pulled back in a neat bun, and her eyes carrying a weight that made even the battle-hardened Admiral pause. "This is Dr. Sarah Chen, speaking on behalf of Earth's Defense Council," she said, her voice calm but firm. "We've been aware of your approach for the past 3 months. This message is being broadcast to every ship in your fleet." Korak's four hearts skipped a beat. Impossible. Their cloaking technology was perfect. Unless, "You're wondering how we detected you," Dr. Chen continued, as if reading his thoughts. "Let's just say that humanity has a few surprises up its sleeve. We've maintained the appearance of a developing civilization deliberately. It's amazing what potential aggressors will reveal about themselves when they think you're not watching." The Admiral's subordinates looked at each other nervously as their scans suddenly started showing readings that defied their understanding. Hidden installations across Earth's surface were powering up, revealing technology far beyond what should have been possible for such a young species. "We've studied every empire that's passed through our sector over the last century," Dr. Chen explained. "We've learned from their mistakes, adapted their technologies, and prepared for this moment. Earth isn't interested in joining your empire, Admiral Korak. We're not interested in war either. But make no mistake, if you proceed with your invasion, you will face consequences that your empire, in all its millennia of conquest, has never encountered." As if to emphasize her point, a small asteroid near the fleet suddenly disappeared in a flash of light that their sensors couldn't even begin to comprehend. When an admiral from the 3rd Battle Group tried to launch fighters, their ships simply shut down, their advanced systems rendered useless by invisible forces. "This is your only warning," Dr. Chen said, her expression softening slightly. "You have 1 hour to retreat beyond the Kuiper Belt. After that, we cannot guarantee your safety. Earth is declaring itself a no-entry zone for your empire and any other expansionist powers. We suggest you spread the word." The transmission cut off, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. For the first time in his 300-year military career, Admiral Korak felt genuine fear. The reports had been wrong. The intelligence had been wrong. Everything they thought they knew about Earth and its inhabitants had been wrong. As he stared at the seemingly peaceful planet below, he couldn't help but wonder what other secrets this species had been hiding all this time, and more importantly, what would happen if he didn't take their warning seriously? The hour was ticking, and the weight of command had never felt heavier on his shoulders. Who were these humans really, and how had they managed to fool the entire galaxy for so long? Back on Earth, in the underground command center beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Chen removed her neural interface headset and let out a long breath. Around her, dozens of operators maintained their focus on holographic displays, tracking every movement of the alien fleet. The room hummed with tension and the soft beeping of quantum computers processing real-time data. "They're still trying to scan through our defensive grid," reported Commander James Chen, her nephew and head of Earth's cybersecurity division. His fingers danced across floating screens as he monitored the aliens' increasingly desperate attempts to understand what they were facing. "Should we show them more?" Sarah shook her head, her eyes fixed on the massive central display showing the Galactic Empire's fleet positions. "No, let them sweat it out. Sometimes the fear of the unknown is more effective than any weapon we could reveal." She'd learned that lesson the hard way during humanity's first secret contact 50 years ago. The truth was, Earth had never been as primitive as they'd led the galaxy to believe. When the first alien probe entered the solar system in 1947, humanity had already developed technology that operated on principles the rest of the galaxy hadn't even theorized about yet. Instead of announcing themselves, Earth's leaders had made the unprecedented decision to hide their true capabilities, creating an elaborate facade of a developing civilization while secretly studying every alien species that passed through their corner of space. Status report from the Luna base, called out Lieutenant Diana Petal from her station. The quantum entanglement array is holding steady. If they try anything, we can shut down their entire fleet's neural networks in under 3 microseconds. Sarah nodded, remembering the decades of work that had gone into developing these defenses. While the rest of the galaxy focused on brute force and energy weapons, humanity had taken a different path, exploring the fundamental fabric of reality itself. They'd learned to manipulate space-time, developed consciousness-based technology, and mastered energy forms that other species didn't even know existed. Movement detected in the third quadrant, James announced suddenly. 2 of their destroyer-class vessels are powering up weapons systems. His voice remained calm, but Sarah could see the tension in his shoulders. On the main screen, the massive alien ships began to glow with energy signatures. Admiral Korak was either calling their bluff or making a terrible mistake. Sarah straightened her uniform and took a deep breath. She'd hoped it wouldn't come to this. Initiative Protocol Omega, she commanded, her voice clear and steady. Around the room, operators began activating systems that had never been used outside of testing. Beneath the surface of every planet and moon in the solar system, ancient machines built by their ancestors stirred to life. "Ma'am," James called out, his eyes wide as new data streamed across his screen. "We're detecting similar energy signatures from the direction of Alpha Centauri. The Empire's secondary fleet is on the move." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Of course, they'd have a backup fleet. The Empire hadn't conquered half the galaxy by being unprepared. What they didn't know was that humanity's influence extended far beyond Earth's solar system. They'd been building and preparing for centuries, hidden colonies and installations scattered throughout nearby star systems, all waiting for this moment. "Send the signal to Proxima Defense Station," she ordered. "Let's show them what happens when they threaten our home." As she watched the holographic displays light up with activity, Sarah couldn't help but wonder if the galaxy was ready for humanity to finally step out of the shadows. The next few minutes would determine whether first contact would end in peaceful revelation or become the opening shots of a war unlike anything the Empire had ever faced. In the tense silence of the command center, all eyes watched as the Empire's destroyers charged their main weapons. The quantum sensors detected energy buildups that could vaporize entire continents. Yet no one in the room showed fear. They had prepared for this moment for generations. 30 seconds until their weapons reached critical charge, Lieutenant Patel announced, her fingers steady on her console despite the stakes. The Empire's ships now glowed like artificial suns against the backdrop of space, their power signatures overwhelming standard sensors. Sarah Chen closed her eyes for a moment, feeling the weight of humanity's future on her shoulders. When she opened them again, there was steel in her gaze. "Initialize the Solomon Protocol," she commanded. Throughout the solar system, invisible quantum fields began to shift and realign. On his flagship, Admiral Korak was about to give the order to fire when something extraordinary happened. His crew watched in disbelief as Earth's moon seemed to flicker, like a hologram experiencing interference. Then, before their eyes, the lunar surface began to transform. What they had thought was a natural satellite peeled away in layers, revealing a massive artificial structure beneath, a construct of such complexity that their sensors couldn't even begin to analyze it. "By the eternal void," Korak whispered, his mandibles clicking in shock. The moon, humanity's moon, was some kind of ancient machine, a technological marvel that dwarfed anything the Empire had ever built, and it was waking up. "Multiple quantum signatures detected," James reported back on Earth, his voice tight with concentration. The lunar defense grid is fully operational. Alpha Centauri station reports ready. Waiting for your command, Dr. Chen. Sarah stepped forward, her hand hovering over the final authorization panel. The Empire needed to understand that humanity hadn't just been hiding, they had been preparing. Every asteroid, every planet, every piece of space debris in their solar system had been transformed over centuries into an interconnected defense network. Energy spiked from the Imperial fleet. Lieutenant Petal called out. They're firing. The destroyer's weapons released their apocalyptic payload, sending beams of destructive energy powerful enough to crack a planet toward Earth. For a heartbeat, everyone in the command center held their breath. This was the moment of truth, the culmination of centuries of preparation and sacrifice. The instant before the beams would have entered Earth's atmosphere, reality itself seemed to bend. The lunar surface erupted with geometric patterns of light that stretched across space like a spider's web. The Empire's energy weapons hit this network and simply disappeared. What just happened? James asked, his eyes wide as he processed the sensor data. Those weapons didn't deflect or disperse. They just ceased to exist. Show them, Sarah ordered, her voice quiet but firm. Show them everything. Across the solar system, humanity's hidden infrastructure revealed itself. Jupiter's great red spot unfolded like an origami flower, exposing a massive shipyard. Saturn's rings separated and reformed into defensive platforms that made the Empire's most powerful weapons look like toys. Every asteroid, every dwarf planet, every piece of cosmic debris suddenly showed its true nature. On the Imperial flagship, Admiral Korak watched with growing horror as his sensors tried to make sense of what they were seeing. The supposedly primitive solar system was transforming into the most fortified space he had ever encountered. And in that moment, he realized that his mighty empire had just made the biggest mistake in its 10,000-year history. Your weapons won't work here, Admiral. Dr. Chen's voice came through once again, but this time there was something different about it. Something older, deeper, more powerful. The question is, what are you going to do about it? The stakes had never been higher as two civilizations stood on the brink. One that had ruled through force for millennia, and another that had hidden its true nature since before recorded history. The next few moments would determine not just the fate of Earth, but the future of the entire galaxy. As Admiral Korak stared at the transformed solar system, his tactical officer suddenly burst onto the bridge. Admiral, we're detecting similar energy signatures from multiple sectors. They're not just in this system. They're everywhere. Across the galaxy, hidden human outposts were revealing themselves. Worlds the Empire had thought uninhabited showed signs of advanced technology. Trading posts they dismissed as primitive now pulsed with quantum signatures. Humanity hadn't just been hiding on Earth. They'd been silently weaving themselves into the very fabric of galactic civilization. In the Earth Command Center, Sarah Chen received the incoming reports with growing concern. This wasn't part of the plan. Status report, she demanded, watching as new signals lit up the galactic map like a stellar nursery. Dr. Chen, James called out, his voice shaking slightly. We're getting signals from colonies we didn't even know existed. They're using protocols that haven't been active since the ancient days. He paused, swallowing hard. These installations are older than our recorded history. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. The truth was, even humanity's leaders didn't know their complete history. There were gaps, mysterious periods where knowledge had been deliberately hidden or lost. Now, as if responding to some ancient programming, those secrets were beginning to surface. New contact, Lieutenant Petal shouted. Massive quantum disturbance detected at the edge of the solar system. The main screen shifted to show a section of space near Pluto literally folding in on itself. Reality twisted and bent until something emerged. A fleet of ships unlike anything either humanity or the Empire had ever seen. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, James reported, his hands flying over his console. Using Earth languages, dating back to Sumerian. The color drained from his face as he decoded the message. They're claiming to be the Founders. Sarah's heart nearly stopped. Every human child knew the legends of the Founders. the mysterious ancestors who had supposedly seeded Earth with the first human civilization. Most thought they were just myths, but now Admiral Korak watched in confusion as the new fleet took position between his ships and Earth. Their design was both familiar and alien, as if someone had taken Imperial technology and evolved it through 1,000 generations of advancement. "This is Architect Raman of the Founder Fleet." A new voice resonated through every communication system in the solar system. "We have watched and waited as our children grew, hidden in the shadows of their own potential. The Empire's aggression has forced our hand. The time of revelation has come earlier than planned." In the command center, Sarah finally understood. Humanity hadn't just been hiding their technology. They had been part of a grand experiment, a carefully orchestrated evolution spanning millennia. The Empire's invasion hadn't just threatened Earth. It had disrupted something far larger and more complex. "Dr. Chen," the architect's voice came through on a private channel. "Your people were never meant to face this alone. We had a schedule, a plan for humanity's gradual emergence onto the galactic stage. But now," there was genuine concern in the ancient being's voice, "now we must accelerate everything. Are you prepared for what that means?" Before Sarah could respond, the quantum sensors screamed a warning. The Empire's secondary fleet had arrived, but they weren't alone. They were being pursued by something that made even the founder ships seem primitive by comparison. As the unknown entities entered the solar system, both humans and aliens alike realized that the game they thought they were playing was far bigger than anyone had imagined. In that moment, as three civilizations converged around a small blue planet, the true scale of humanity's role in the galaxy began to unfold, and Sarah Chen, standing in her command center beneath the Rocky Mountains, realized that the revelation of Earth's defenses had been just the beginning of a much larger story. Sarah Chen watched in awe as the pursuing entities materialized fully in normal space, massive crystalline structures that seemed to phase between dimensions. Their presence alone caused quantum fluctuations that made both Empire and Founder ships look like toys in comparison. The beings that even the Founders feared had arrived. "We tried to prepare them in time." Architect Raman's voice carried notes of both regret and determination. "The Empire's premature invasion forced us to reveal ourselves, but these are the ones we were preparing humanity to face." The crystalline entities surrounded the solar system, their surfaces reflecting light in impossible ways. In the command center, James's quantum sensors were going haywire. "They're not just ships," he realized. "They're gateways. Something's coming through them." Admiral Korak, watching from his flagship, made a decision that would be remembered for millennia to come. "All Imperial ships, stand down," he commanded. "We may have started this confrontation, but I will not have the Empire's forces destroyed because of my mistake." His ships began powering down their weapons, retreating to a defensive formation. The crystalline structures began to pulse with energy, and suddenly, space itself seemed to speak, not in words, but in concepts that burned themselves into the minds of all present. They were the precursors, the first race to achieve consciousness in this galaxy. They had seeded the stars with life, guided evolution, and watched as countless civilizations rose and fell. "Now you understand," Architect Raman transmitted to the Earth Command Center. "We're not your ancestors, Dr. Chen. We're your guardians. The Founders were created by the precursors to shepherd humanity, to help you become what you were meant to be." As if responding to his words, the quantum defense network humanity had built began to resonate with the precursor structures. The technology hidden in Earth's moon, in the planets, in every hidden outpost. It had never been merely defensive. It was a key waiting to be turned. The Empire's aggression wasn't a threat, Sarah realized, her voice barely a whisper. It was a catalyst. We weren't hiding our technology from them. We were building something. All of us, every human advancement, every secret installation. We were building a lock for a door we didn't even know existed. The precursor structures aligned themselves with Earth's defense grid, forming a perfect geometric pattern that stretched across the solar system. Energy began to flow between them, creating a lattice of pure quantum potential. The truth hit Sarah like a physical force. Humanity hadn't been meant to fight the Empire. They had been meant to achieve something far greater. Your species, the precursor consciousness resonated, carries within it the seeds of change. Not just technological advancement, but true evolution, the ability to bridge the gap between organic life and cosmic consciousness. The Empire's conquest of the galaxy created order we needed to complete this grand design. In a flash of understanding, Sarah saw the full picture. The Empire's rigid structure, humanity's hidden potential, the Founder's guidance. It had all been part of the Precursor's plan. Not for war, not for dominance, but for transformation. The quantum lattice surrounding Earth pulsed once, and every human felt it. Awakening. A transformation at the deepest level of their being. Their hidden potential, carefully cultivated over thousands of years, finally blossoming. Dr. Chen, Architect Raman said softly, "Your people are the bridge. Not victims, not warriors, but transformers. Through you, organic life in this galaxy will transcend its current limitations. The Empire didn't come here to conquer Earth. They came here to be changed by it." As the light from the quantum lattice faded, Sarah looked at her display and smiled. The Empire's ships were still there, but their crews were experiencing the first waves of the change. Humanity's first gift to the galaxy would not be warfare or submission, but evolution itself. Yet even as this revelation settled over the assembled fleets, a final signal caught Sarah's attention. Far beyond the edge of the solar system, something else was stirring. The Precursor's arrival hadn't just awakened humanity's potential. It had caught the attention of something that had been sleeping in the dark between galaxies. Something that made even the Precursors pause in concern. In the days that followed, Earth became the center of an unprecedented galactic transformation. The Imperial ships, once poised for invasion, now orbited peacefully alongside Founder vessels as their crews experienced the first stages of evolutionary awakening. The quantum lattice pulsed with a soft, continuous glow, a visible reminder of humanity's new role in the cosmos. Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of the lunar installation, no longer hidden beneath its artificial surface, and watched the steady stream of ships arriving from across the galaxy. Species that had been enemies for millennia came seeking understanding, drawn by the changes they'd witnessed in the Empire's forces. "The transformation is spreading faster than we anticipated," Architect Raman said, joining her at the window. His form shifted between physical and energy states, a testament to the Founder's own evolutionary journey. "Your people have adapted to the change remarkably well." Sarah nodded, thinking of how quickly humans had embraced their new abilities. The power to bridge consciousness, to understand the quantum nature of reality itself, had come naturally, as if humanity had been designed for this role from the very beginning. "And the entity beyond the galaxy?" she asked, voicing the concern that had been nagging at her since that first detection. The precursor structures had maintained their position around the solar system, their crystalline surfaces occasionally flickering with energy patterns that suggested deep communication. "It sleeps still," Raman assured her, "but it dreams of change. What we've started here, this transformation, it's not just about our galaxy anymore. The entity represents something older than even the precursors. When it fully wakes, we'll need humanity's unique abilities more than ever." Admiral Korak, now transformed by the quantum awakening, had become an unexpected ally. His understanding of Imperial space had proved invaluable as they established transformation centers across the galaxy. He approached them now, his once rigid military bearing replaced by a more fluid grace. "The last of the Imperial Council has arrived," he announced. "They've agreed to help guide the transition. No more conquests. We'll grow together instead." The pride in his voice was evident. His empire had found a greater purpose than mere expansion. James worked nearby, coordinating with teams of humans and aliens as they studied the quantum lattice's effects. The technology they'd hidden for so long was now being shared openly, but with wisdom and purpose. Humanity had become teachers rather than defenders. Lieutenant Patel's voice came over the comm system, steady as always. "Dr. Chen, the precursors are requesting your presence. They say it's time to prepare for the next phase." Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility and the thrill of discovery in equal measure. Humanity had evolved from a seemingly primitive species to the keystone of galactic evolution in a matter of days. Yet somehow it felt right, as if every step of human history had been leading to this moment. "Tell them I'm on my way," she replied, taking one last look at the transformed solar system. The Earth glowed with a new kind of life, its hidden potential finally unleashed. The moon, now a beacon of quantum technology, served as a reminder of how far they'd come. As she turned to leave, Sarah caught her reflection in the window. The quantum changes had left their mark on her too. A subtle luminescence in her eyes, a deeper connection to the cosmic consciousness they were all becoming part of. She smiled, knowing that this wasn't an ending, but a beginning. The empire that had come to conquer had instead become part of something greater. Humanity, the hidden gardeners of consciousness, had finally stepped into their true role. And somewhere, in the dark between galaxies, an ancient entity stirred in its sleep, dreaming of the changes to come.